Recession worries rattle Wall Street.
Concern about the prospects for a recession.
Is the American economy, growing for more than a decade now, suddenly at risk of stalling, even tipping into recession?
The R word is being thrown around once again in the U.S. as markets reacted to President Donald Trump's trade war with China. It sent a jolt of anxiety to investors and is ringing bells for economists looking for signs of a looming recession. So what are these indicators? Let's start with what's known as a yield curve. It's a term used in the bond market to reflect what usually happens when you make higher returns, or yield higher returns, on longer-term investments and make less on short-term investments. What has people worried? The opposite is happening. 2-year investments, for example, are yielding a higher return than a 10-year investment. That's known as an inverted yield curve. Historically, the U.S. curve has inverted about a year before each recession in the past 50 years. But some economists warn it's not foolproof, especially in Canada, because you need to look at the bigger picture.
I don't give the yield curve very much consideration at all. First of all, it's one statistic, and I don't think it's terribly important. You know, whether the long-term or short-term bonds are earning more, that's just a fluctuation in the market. I don't think it's a precursor to the sky falling. I really don't.
The labor market is another important indicator. The Canadian unemployment rate currently sits at a low 5.7%, which is still higher than the record low U.S. unemployment rate of 3.7%. These employment levels don't seem to be pointing towards a recession. One of the most effective ways to gauge whether the economy is expanding or contracting is to evaluate the country's gross domestic product, or GDP. When the GDP contracts instead of expanding, it causes businesses to slow expansion. Perhaps one of the most significant recession indicators present in the market today is the possibility of a trade war between the US and China, and the general political unrest in Europe. Which brings us to one of the biggest fears of a recession: fear itself, and what economists call self-fulfilling prophecies.
It's fascinating at this time because why are you seeing that fear? Is it because of employment statistics? No. Interest rate statistics? No. Inflation statistics? No. Manufacturing? No, 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 no. It's all because of sort of this supposed war between Donald Trump and the rest of the world. That people are going, wait a minute, if he's so busy waging wars, that's going to slow down the economy. If that's going to slow down the economy, I better start saving. People start saving. People start not spending. And then all of a sudden, you get recessive tendencies.
While experts still aren't unanimous on whether a recession is coming, they do agree the best way to prepare is by building up savings and paying off outstanding credit card debt.